Good morning, Lions Nation Night. We're here, finally, training camp, observations, finally, real stuff coming as the NFL season now is right around the corner. So we're going to be talking about a lot of injuries and what it means for the Lions. A lot of significant ones, good, bad, and ugly. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, if you are not a subscriber to Lions Nation Unite and you like to hear from a fan perspective like myself, other people as well, part of Lions Nation Unite, and former players like Herman Moore, you might as well go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because that's what we do on here, is just talk Detroit Lions 24/7, and it's a fun time. Let's go. We have significant injury updates to talk about regarding our Detroit Lions to start training camp. One good, one bad, one not so much, really anything, and I don't think it to be big news. So let's go ahead and start with the bad first, then we'll get into the good. Well, actually, we'll start with the bad, we'll get into the and then we'll get into the good. Bad is Emmanuel Moseley is not practicing, and Dan Campbell talked about it. He looked a little bit worried. He talked about it as a setback. This is actually significant because Emmanuel Moseley coming in here was supposed to be an outside corner to Cameron Sutton. And with the 49ers, he was injured. I think it was week 6 of last year, and he's been out since. Now in OTAs and minicamp, Emmanuel Moseley was looking good. He said he was feeling great, be good to go. That's not the case. And the concerned look on Dan Campbell got me a little bit concerned there. Now, we're still deep at the cornerback position. Still, you want to have your starters, and Emmanuel Moseley is supposed to be a big part to that. He's supposed to be the corner to get us some turnovers and really lock down the other side of the Lions' cornerback position opposite of Cam Sutton. So when I was seeing the concern from Dan Campbell's face, that's when I was like, oh, and the way he talked. Now, I'm not going to panic yet. I don't think it's right to panic right now. The Lions have plenty of time before week 1. Emmanuel Moseley has plenty of time to heal up and be good to go. But considering the fact it was a major injury and the history of it, that does put up a red flag. I really hope Emmanuel Moseley can come back. We need him this year. You know, our secondary was atrocious last year. We need every single player that we can get to be on this team and starting and playing to turn around that ship. Injuries is the one thing that no team likes to have, and to have one of our main guys already injured, not starting camp, kind of really sucks. So that's a significant injury if you ask me, and it can affect in multiple ways. Now, Jerry Jacobs was playing in his spot, and I'm fine. I really like Jerry Jacobs. I think everybody does. The undrafted player that we picked up a couple years ago, I think he'll hold the fort down well in his place, but Emmanuel Moseley is better talent-wise and turnovers. We're really deep at that position. You had Will Harris going on the Cameron Sutton side, and just one of those things where they're just going to have to take it day by day with this rehab and slowly take it along. So then we can have Emmanuel Moseley on the opposite of Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs be the primary backup, and should be good to go from there. But it is concerning. So I want to know in the comment section, how concerned are you about Emmanuel Moseley right now? 1 being not concerned at all, 10 being extremely concerned. I'm going to go with 6. I think it's more than just a nothing, but it's not to that high spot of freak out yet. We're not into that S moment. Another injured player that wasn't practicing is Marvin Jones Jr. We signed him in free agency, former Detroit Lion. Now, from all accounts, it's more precautionary. It's not a long-term thing. Hell, he could be back at practice by the time you watch this video. Marvin Jones Jr., he's a pro's pro. He's a man. Plus, we're pretty good now at the wide receiver position with getting up Denzel Mims, bringing him up. And I when we traded for him, my initial thought is he'd play that kind of Marvin Jones Jr. role, the DJ Chark role. So, he's not ready practicing yet because he just got traded. It's not like he's injured. It's going to take him a little bit of time to know the playbook and all of that. But Marvin Jones Jr., I would not worry about it at all. We got so many good wide receivers that can come in there. Even if it was, it's not big of an issue. And Marvin Jones is already kind of on the same page with Jared Goff and OTAs minicamp. You got two veterans that know how to practice, and they're connecting quick. So there's not an issue of can these guys get on the same page. It already kind of seems like they're on the same page. So if he does miss some practice, it's not too concerning to me. Really, it's not at all. And out of a 1 in 10 scale for concern with Marvin Jones Jr., I'm going to give it a 1. I'm not concerned at all. This is something that I'm not even really thinking about, in all honesty. But I had to give you an update there. So let me know your thoughts, 1 through 10. How concerned are you about Marvin Jones Jr.? Like I said, I'm giving this bad boy a single 1. Let's get into the good news of the day. Insane good news. Unexpected news that I absolutely love, and it's significant. I have been giving grief to this player. My expectations was he's not going to be able to be good to go. But if we did get him back, it is an absolute victory. It's huge plus. Levi Onwuzurike was practicing. That is huge for the interior defensive line. I've been saying that the odds of him to make the 53-man roster and be able to play was extremely low. But if we get him back, it's a huge net positive for the Lions' defensive line. It makes that position that potentially didn't have the much depth good to go. Now, I don't know if he'll ever get to the level that we expected him to get to when we drafted him in the second round. But him just practicing, even though it's with the third team, is a massive step in the right direction. It's a huge step. I'm sure they're going to be cautious with this. Maybe they're going to give him slowly in where they practice and stop him practicing, let him sit a little bit. I'm sure they're going to be extremely cautious and slow with this, as they should be, because having him on this roster and playing is huge for the rotation. It's huge for Levi, his career, Aleem McNeil helping him out, John Kaminsky and Isaiah Buggs, all these guys that's in the middle. It's massive. It gives them another body to have when you cannot have enough bodies on a defensive line. You just can't. This is massive. I don't know how long it's going to last. I couldn't tell you. This is a hour-by-hour thing with Levi Onwuzurike, but it started off good. I'm not saying it's going to end good. I'm not going to say today or tomorrow it'll be good, because I don't know. But I'm happy right now seeing this with Levi Onwuzurike. Man, it's huge. So if he can come out and do his thing, we are good. Some other notable injuries. Hendon Hooker was placed on the PUP list. I don't think any... look, I had optimistic that he could practice because he was doing so good in OTAs minicamp. Doesn't matter. They're being precautious, as they should be. The guy's a quarterback. I have no problem. If he was to practice, it'd be excitingly awesome. If he didn't, oh well, like that's what we expected. Derek Deese didn't play as well, a little bit injured there. And Zach Morton, who was placed on the non-football injury list. Deese and Morton were practicing on Sunday. So it was just a little bit notch right there. So I ain't too worried about Hendon Hooker. I'm not too worried about someone who right now is a QB3, who's going to learn behind Jared Goff, learn behind Nate Sudfeld. Lions should be good to go from that standpoint. So some big-time injury news. This is something that we got to pay attention to 24/7 because it's so vital towards the season. It is. So we had some good, we had some and we had some bad news, and we had some news we kind of expected. But, folks, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I think it's really imperative that you go ahead and hit that red button, that red subscribe button right now. We're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers. And the more people watch the video, the more it gets pushed out there, all of that lovely stuff. So go ahead and subscribe. See you next time.